Hi there guys. Today I have a Pelican Catch 110 HD2. Whew, that's a mouthful. I actually like this boat very much. It's been out for a few years already, but this one's new to me and I want to rig it up for a day on the water and fishing. So let's go ahead and do that. Rigging this thing is pretty easy because of all the tracks. 4 tracks up front that come with this boat. And you can get like a gear track assembly dealie from Scotty and put rod holders in it, cup holders, mounts for fish finders, all kinds of stuff. That part is very, very easy. Aside from the rod holder, I have a little ball mount. You can twist that on there. It's nice and simple. It goes everywhere. There is a track. And onto that, I usually have something like this. There's a ball mount permanently attached here, just over the left shoulder, so that I can get some shots on the water. And that again is for my camera mount. In the back rod holders, I've taken a piece of PVC. You see I had it marked for make way and the green mode, and it kind of fits in all of the flush mount rod holders that I have in my boats, and I'll just pull them out and swap them from boat to boat. The same can be said for this anchor trolley, which I just had last on my green mode, and now I have it set up so that I can put it on any boat. I also have pad eyes on my Getaway, forward and back also on the Argo, and there are cleats on both of those boats. So now I can take the same anchor trolley assembly and put it on those 3 boats, and I put pad eyes on this boat as well. A lot of times when you get an anchor trolley kit, they come with a cleat, so I just put them on there with deck screws. Now be careful putting holes in your boat, because that might void your warranty. But I've done this plenty of times, and between you and me, I've never had any worries with water leaking in there, even though I'm just using screws. Now I determine the length and where the second pad eye should be. See, now I can have that same anchor trolley assembly on all of those boats. I like adding this little bit of bungee to the back. Keeps it taut, up and out of the way. Pelican's TST, or twin sheet thermoform process, has a little lip there too, which is perfect for an anchor trolley, so that when you're on top of the boat you really don't see it. You know, that's kind of nice. These little stainless steel clips, which I found forever ago, have held up wonderfully and enable me to take it off of the boat so that it's not stretched and in the sun when it's being stored. And a lot of times I'll put that inside the exo crate, which goes on all of my boats. Again, this is stuff that you can just buy and slap on the boat. So far, well, except for the PVC rod extensions, I'll put a link in the description on how I made those. I've also got the same thing. This is regular PVC put into the exo crate. More and more nowadays, it's becoming very easy to outfit kayaks for a day on the water if you want to go fishing. Yep, Pelican is making things very easy for someone who wants to spend all day on the water. This is a cooler that fits right there. How beautiful. Right behind the seat. It's got little hooks and connectors so that I can attach to the bungee. It's got pouches in the front, pouches over here, and it's insulated. It keeps your drinks cold all day long. And of course the exo crate, man, I can't talk about that thing enough. I bring it everywhere I go, so I always have flyers with me and my little bit of tackle and this and that. So love it, love it, love it. And if anybody else out there has one of these boats, there's very few things that you might complain about. One thing, if you really want to be stealthy and quiet, you know, you can add EVA foam to the hard plastic so that your paddles don't make that much noise. I've done that to certain boats, kind of like the Getaway here. By adding carpet, I made the surface a little bit quieter. Makes it a little bit heavier, but you know, comfort's a big deal when you're on the water. Another thing that makes a little noise is the seat. Over time, when you're out on the water, can irritate you. As soon as you start paying attention to it, you're like, oh, And because this is a foot-powered kayak, you're constantly moving your legs and that squeak can get to you. But it's a really, really simple thing to fix, and I'm gonna go ahead and fix that right now. This is going to work on any of the seats that Pelican makes, even though this one has some padding on it, which is a lot softer on your butt than this type of material, which does dry faster. So again, this one is going to keep you really, really dry, but this one might be a little bit more comfortable. But they're both going to do pretty much the same thing. I guess if you had the basic seat and you really wanted it to be more comfortable, you could just like take a cushion from a bar stool and put it on there, or any kind of cushion, and all of a sudden you have a really comfortable seat. And if you don't want it to get wet, because let's say it starts to rain, you just take it off and boom, you have a seat that dries very quickly. That's the easy way to have the best of both worlds. Of course, if you steal the cushion off the bar stool, make sure the wife doesn't know about it. Anyways, yeah, let's take these seats apart. One thing I'm going to do before I take the seat off of the frame is I'm going to mark where the material touches the frame. You see, so right there, I'm going to take a blue marker so that you can't really see it too much and mark where that fabric is. Okay, you'll see what I mean in a second. Okay, that's that. Let's undress the frame. Oh yeah, here we go. More straps. All these straps are to dial in the comfort of your particular seat to how you like it. And I have had situations before where I was on the water and my lower back was starting to hurt, and by adjusting some of these straps, all of a sudden, the seat felt so much better. So if you've never played with these straps on your Pelican boat, I strongly suggest that you do that, because these can be extremely comfortable. Now, to make it quiet. So now I've got just the frame. Ah, yes. This is the magic secret. Don't tell anybody, okay? That goes for you too, birds. All right, we're gonna go from here to here. You see that? Duct tape. All right. Then I'm gonna put a piece from here to here. I'm gonna do the same thing. So all the other spots, wherever the fabric was touching the frame, if you see that the duct tape doesn't go all the way around, I'm going to cut two pieces for here, put one on the bottom, one on the top, and then we'll do that to everything else, and we'll get right back to you. Hold on. Ta-da! That might have taken me in real time 2.5 minutes. And I know what you're thinking. Well, the adhesive is going to get all over the place and blah, 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 blah. If such precision is what you're after, you are watching the wrong channel. But if a quick and frugal fix for noise from your seat on your Pelican kayak is what you're after, hit that subscribe button, because I got all kinds of ideas for you. Anyways, yes, now we have to take the fabric and put it back from whence it came. To do that, I guess it's pretty easy. We just put the top on first. If you remember, it was a tight fit, so it probably will be a tight fit going back on now that there's tape there. It seems to be the case, but I have faith that you will go where I tell you to go. Fortunately, we only have to do this once, right? Right. I do believe this is going to find its home once the chair is fully assembled and you sit in it. It'll kind of pull down and find where it likes to be. Now I'll put the sides on like this. You go in through the back of the buckle and then back through the front. Okay, in the back, out the front. That was pretty easy. We'll do the bottom, which goes around here. All right, first thing that I've noticed is that the seat does not seem to be in the same position. So that's probably because the back has to go down further, and that'll allow the front to slide forward further. So I'm just going to work this for a little bit, maybe sit on it and get everything in its proper position. But one thing you may notice already you may get the slightest squeak from the straps going over the metal in the back. If that be the case, you could probably put a little piece of tape right here, and it's going to be behind the seat, underneath the seat. You're never going to see it. If you're worried about aesthetics like I do occasionally, that shouldn't be a problem anyways. All right, see where the tape ends? That's right where the fabric ends, so you can't really see it too much. This was quick and sloppy and easy. I could have done probably a better job, but now that this is done, I'm probably not going to notice that tape ever. What I may notice though is how wonderfully quiet that is all of a sudden. There's the slightest squeak. You really got to listen for it. It's just fabric on fabric. It's probably going to be drowned out by the sounds of the water once you're out there. And if you're the type that thinks that, well, I don't know if I'll be able to put that thing back together or something, it really wasn't that hard. That's number one. And number two, you should be familiar with the straps. And there are 4 there, 2 there, 4 more on the bottom. So these 10 straps are there for a reason, and they're meant to be adjusted. That's why they're not just fixed. Adjusting these can really dial this seat in to how you happen to like it and make your paddling experience a lot better. And now you know how to make it a lot quieter. So that being said, I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it back on that boat, and we're going to get it on the water. One last thing though I'm going to do is where these seat feet touch the boat, I'm getting a little bit of noise there, so I'm going to use some more duct tape and wrap it around the feet a whole bunch of times, and that should soften that sound so that when you're paddling you're not going to get that noise there. Okay? Yeah, that is a big improvement, and it just takes a little bit of duct tape. And by the way, if you think for some reason that you're above duct tape, you're better than that, tell that to the guys at NASA who use it to hold things together, or race car drivers who have a seat patched with duct tape, or a sniper in the army or something that has his rifle dialed into his specific needs, and tell them you're above duct tape. I see no issues with it. To me, it shows that you use the thing a lot and you understand what subtle improvements need to be made, and you're making it so that you can take it out again and again and again. And this kayak right out of the factory is really great for that. It just requires sometimes a little bit of tweaking. So think about that before you get judgmental there. Okay. Okay, let's take this thing out on the water. Now, you guys know that I love your comments, and you know that I can't help but drill even more holes in this boat because I wasn't done modifying it just yet. This handle on the right hand side, or starboard side, I decided to remove because I would hit it sometimes with my paddle. There were 2 holes and I covered them up I'm making 8 more holes. In the front, I added these pieces, which you can buy from Pelican, and they act as rod tip holders up in the front. There's already little slots for rod tips, but these secure your rod tips a little bit better. And since I was in the mood to make things better, I remembered a seat that I had on one of my older boats. This is from my Getaway, I think, the one with the carpet. I added a phone pocket. This is a piece of screen that I had made into a project that didn't really pan out once before. So I'm repurposing it by cutting it to the size that I need. And then I took the seat back off again. And I had the wife sew it up. Yeah, that's it. Because I don't know how to use the sewing machine. I needed her to do it for me. The wife.
Go ahead, you kid. I know you're gonna show me.
Anyways, I got these 2 foot peg mechanism dealies from an old kayak, and I decided to cut them so that they would fit on this boat. The oscillating tool made short work of it. Once that was done, I switched batteries to an angle grinder with a sanding bit on it, and I rounded over the edges so that it fit in there real nice. Then I took off all the burrs. I cleaned it up with some WD-40 since this part was kind of old and grody. And after that, I just needed to drill a few holes, and this thing would be ready to attach to this new boat. I thought it was going to make a spectacular addition. Normally you'd be using the pedals on the high drive for, placing your feet, but every once in a while you got to paddle this thing. And I felt like these foot pegs were really going to come in handy. I even got a little bit of adjustment left in them in case I needed it. With both of them installed, I couldn't help but put a sticker on the front because now it was kind of my boat, and customized, so it got my signature. Now finally, I was ready to take this thing out on the water. Put the dry bag over here. Nice to have a spot for that. Nice to have a spot for my feet when I'm just paddling, or of course I'll raise them up and put them here when I'm paddling. This boat is silent. If it weren't for the road noise, I would question whether or not I still had my hearing. And it's stable. I'm able to fish while I'm pedaling, sitting back, relaxing. There's a place for everything. Ooh, boy. What I just got a hit. Probably pulled up some grass. Let me tend to this. I'll be right back. This area was very shallow and there was a lot of grass, which made pulling even an 1/8 ounce jig head a little bit difficult without pulling up vegetation from the bottom. Grass fish. There's something about this boat. The Catch 110 HD, when it first came out, was the first pedal drive that was kind of my size. The very first one that Pelican made was a 130, and that boat was a little bit too big for a little guy like me. So when this boat came out, I remember being very excited about it and pleased with the size, the performance. Everything seemed perfectly dialed in. Of course, I have done my modifications like you saw in the beginning of this video. The seat has been wonderful and quiet. It's just a pleasure to paddle this thing around or pedal it. And having these little protectors up front really make it so that the rod tip is not going to flail out. And I go through mangrove tunnels an awful lot, so that's kind of a big deal. And I could have one more rod on this, or heck, 3 more rods, or just have different places to put various rods. As you can tell, I went ahead and painted my rod holders. I couldn't stand the fact that they didn't match. The phone holder. Everybody has a phone, right? And I don't even feel it. I mean, my torso is kind of narrow, so maybe that's why, but having this where I can get to it is pretty awesome. And you know, props to the wife for sewing that up. So something I wanted to share with you guys. This is kind of difficult to sew a pocket. You need the material, you need a sewing machine, and it's a little bit more of a skill level than, say, buying something and putting it into one of the tracks that come from the factory. You know, this is a gear head that you can get from Scotty, and it slides into the track that comes with the boat. And no tools, no skill required at all, just a couple bucks to buy it. And if you need a place for your phone, this thing right here is a kit that Scotty sells. And there you go. I can now take my phone. It doesn't have to be up here where the rod holder would be, but you see how that just slides in there? And this little knob here will crank down or out. You see how that works? And it allows you to get an alarming amount of pressure on the phone. Like, I don't want to squeeze too hard for fear of cracking the screen, but that ain't gonna come out. I'm really trying to pull on that and it's not coming. So for a secure place to keep your phone, say on a big boat or a kayak, or heck, I even replaced the phone holder, which was kind of chintzy, in my truck. I use the same phone holder whether I'm on the kayak, a boat, or in my truck now, because I like that thing so much. And I know what you're saying, I talk about Scotty all the time, but I do not get paid by them. I just really like their stuff. I have met the people there that work with Scotty and some of the higher ups, and they're just fantastic people. So yes, I'm happy to praise their products, but I also like them a lot because they work really great. So I just want to share that with you guys. Another thing that works really good that I like a lot is this cooler. And yes, I sometimes bring soy sauce and just put it on a can of tuna fish. But today I brought a sandwich, which I think worked out a little better. But that cooler fits behind the seat so well. I take it out on all my trips, regardless of what I decide to bring and eat. And I'm sure there's something that I'm missing, like perhaps the numbers that I put on the paddle. Yep, I forgot to mention this earlier before I left. I wrote down popular sizes of the types of fish that I normally catch, in case I got one and wanted to make sure that I could take them home to eat. And that actually came in handy. Because of the grass, I switched to a Miradine crankbait or jerkbait, and today it was exactly what the fishes ordered. Oh, you getting this? Actually caught a fish. Wow. Oh boy. You know, I really do love this kayak. On the boat, but between that and the current, it's really got me spinning around. This would be very hard to do without foot pedals. That's a nice fish. Yep. Yes, it is. Holy crap, that's a nice fish. I gotta play him easy. We got 10-pound braid. No, it's 12-pound braid and a 15-pound leader, I think. Starting to get tired. All right, there's the side that I'm looking for. Uh-oh. Go in the back, get my grips. You got a mouthful of troubles. Oof. Oh boy. Say ah. Back in the water you go. Wow. I'm gonna measure this guy up. First I want to see if I can get those hooks out of his mouth. Everything within reach. Isn't that nice? Right. Always important to have pliers on hand, huh? Also nice to have a way to measure the fish. It's nice that I put those marks on there. This guy's got to be between 18 and 27 to keep. Let's see how big he is. Whew. This guy's 28 and a half. Now there's a chance. Come on, get some oxygen on you. There's a chance that this could be slightly off, but his tail pinch came to past 28, which means he's too big to keep. That's all right. We gotta let these big girls go back and man, that's beautiful. We gotta let them go so they can make little redfish babies. Whew. Wow. Did I mention I like this boat? One other thing that I really like is that I've had this exo crate for so long and it's always on my boats behind me. I know where everything goes, and in a pinch when I need something like these long nose pliers, I can pretty much without looking reach back and know where it should be, and when I'm done with them I can put them back just as easily. Doesn't have the same effect as snook, but boy, they sure can fight hard. Yeah, it's too bad that that fish was overslot, because redfish is one of my favorite fish to eat, next to sheep's head and flounder and snapper and grouper. All right, it's up there in my top 10. But it was oversized, and I do agree that the big ones, because they're breeders, should be let go. And I also believe that it's not really the boat. I can't say today I was on Pelican catch 110 HD2, and that's the reason I caught a fish. I happened to be using the right bait at the right time in the right place, and the moon was aligned with Uranus or something nonsense. But whatever it was, I'm happy for it. And of course, the main ingredient, the thing that any boat can really provide, is to get you out there to catch them. And every time I get my hands on a new boat to me, I enjoy the heck out of rigging it up I've got more rigging videos coming in the future of some other boats, but this one kind of happened real quick and I wanted to share it with you. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope it inspires you. And if you have a boat out there, hopefully you're rigging it up and getting it ready to get out on the water. All right, I'm gonna get this thing back home so I can feed the pups and tell the wife all about the big fish that I caught. See you guys later. Bye.